What's up, everybody? It's Joe LaPuma from Complex. ComplexCon is back. We are getting close, October 25th and 26th. This year is going to be bigger and better. Over 300 brands, exclusive drops, 2 nights of headliners, and of course the Sneaker of the Year panel hosted by me and the co-host of the Complex Sneakers podcast. Which is going to be the Sneaker of the Year? You'll have to find out. Make sure you check out ComplexCon. Get those tickets, complexcon.com, October 25th and 26th. See you there. What's up, everybody? It's Joe LaPuma. You are listening, you are watching the Complex Sneakers podcast. As always, I'm joined by my 2 co-hosts. To my right, Mr. Matt Welty.
You sound so labored saying that.
What, begrudgingly that you're a friend?
Oh, you're like, I'm sitting next to this guy.
Well, I sit next to you here. I sit next to you in the office. Let's be honest. Enough already. To my left.
Breath of fresh air.
Okay, look at how excited I am for him, though.
You know what I mean?
Sorry. Mr. Upscale Vandal, look.
I don't sit next to you anywhere.
I know, this guy, this guy, no. Come on, don't forget it. Mr. Upscale Vandal, how we feeling today? Second episode. First one went really well.
Back in the groove?
Back in the swing of things. Energy's up.
I'm learning the swing of things.
Okay.
I don't know how do you guys feel I fit into the first one?
First one, I think the chemistry, I was a little worried. Obviously, the list was debated online. We knew that
they
already.
always are, though.
Yeah, we knew that.
It's gonna be that.
I'm happy he's on our team, though. He's not
does it
tweeting.
feel
He's
weird?
not tweeting about the list.
Does
He's
it
on
feel
our
weird to, like, step behind the curtain on it, though? Because you're always, like, on the front and the person reacting to it.
Super. Especially because I don't have the time to formulate the tweet against y'all, and I gotta say it to your face
Is that
right
harder?
now, which is fine, but it's a lot harder to be witty right here in me shooting you guys. So if I got to shoot you, I should come with some premeditated shot. I learned that episode 1. Come with my shots premeditated.
Okay.
Sniper style.
Also, a little peek behind the curtain. The first promo that we put out, he was talking. We know we had to take the sneakerhead take. I was like, talk about, because he was talking that talk. Like, what did he say? I'm outside.
Yeah, he's like, I'm ready to, like, get into, like, a UFC fight.
I'm
Listen,
ready.
Maybe we needed some muscle.
If y'all know one thing about me is I'm on the front lines at all times.
Yes.
Ask this man to my right.
It's true.
They don't say the hand of God for no reason. Whenever they mention the hand of God, just know I am outside. I stand by my statements, my tweets. Approach me.
Remember that show, Bully Beatdown on MTV back in the day?
I don't think he's a bully, though.
No, but do you think that, like, if they had brought in one of, like, the UFC or professional fighters against you?
I'd love to be on Bully Beatdown Complex Edition.
Come
see me about my stance.
How long do you think you'd last?
In the UFC?
Against UFC, it depends. If we're doing full Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, probably a minute 30.
Do you think you could escape a rear naked choke, or
pause? Definitely not escaping it, but I'm not letting him rock.
Okay.
You know, without being unscathed is what I'm saying.
Okay. What about you? You're active.
He's active. He's
in the
active.
gym.
Yeah.
Do you know jiu-jitsu or what?
I used to wrestle in high school, but
Not the same.
got some
Not
wrestling.
the same.
I think
Okay.
it's a good base.
You mean
Okay.
wrestling like Kurt Angle or
Kurt Angle.
Like
Yeah.
wrestling, like actual real wrestling.
Singlets.
oh, like with the
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you might be able to survive a little bit.
Okay, not me.
Not used to grappling with males.
I'm just like I'm not any physical activity. I mean, people
You're
have seen me.
Italian,
People
dude,
have
though.
seen
You
me
don't-
when I get upset. I get upset.
Once you start with this,
yeah, forget it. You
forget
know?
about it.
All right. Well, listen, we talked about the collaborator list, and we mentioned about how big a year in sneakers it's been for some of the collaborators. But like I've said, for the whole year, one after the other, undefeated 4, Levi's 95, Awake 5. We have another one tomorrow,
Nigel.
though. Nigel, of course, we know. Another one tomorrow, though. Would you consider these a grail? They release tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely.
Do you think this is overkill bringing these back?
Well, here's the thing.
Tokyo 5s. Coming
Originally
back
released in
tomorrow.
2011.
Okay, here's the thing.
These shoes were like $5,000 back in the day.
Adam Levine bought them on sneaker shopping for his wife, and then now
Realize what it was.
Yes.
Here's my thing. We all know at this day and age, that this is the one-trick pony that we'll all accept forever. Correct?
What is it? What do you
The
mean?
Jordan Brand one-trick pony. Like, we know that we're gonna stick to. We're not jumping. Nobody's jumping to new silhouettes. Nobody cares.
They have the infinite.
Nobody cares.
They have the infinite archive.
That's
No,
not a
you
new
see?
silhouette.
That's not a new
It's a
silhouette.
17.
No, it was-
17.
I'm saying they have an infinite archive.
Oh,
Oh.
shout to Easy. Yes.
Yeah.
So,
See his.
so here's what I'm saying. I think that we need to accept that this is the cycle that's going to happen forever. And as fans of what this was originally, you can't take away what the feeling was to be able to actually get them.
Did you have the shoe back then?
I didn't. And this is what I'm saying. Like, same thing with the undefeated fours.
Yeah.
I did not have them. I did not have these. Will I go and get them because they're readily accessible and I like to wear them and I like to get that fit off for $200? Yes.
What's the most you ever had spent on a Grail back in the day that wasn't like a Nike mag or something like that?
I've spent like 4,000.
What shoe was it?
5,000.
Do you remember what shoe?
I've spent 4,000 or 5,000 multiple times.
But like, what are some of those shoes that like made you?
I think the cheapest that I came off my Grail, shout to Shoe Wolf, is I bought the Dunkel from him.
Okay.
The thing I like about this is the timing. Like, they didn't retro it 4 years or 3 years after. There's been.
But
they've
do you
done
think that with the big year that we've had with all the retros and undefeated and all that sort
Did
of
we
stuff,
need
that
it?
like that maybe they should have waited till like next year to do it, like do one big retro.
I think they
Grail,
have to
bring
strike
back-
while the iron's hot because
feel the
everything
same.
they do when they're not hot is a dud.
But you don't
I
think it
also
makes it
think-
less and less each time, no? Or you think it builds and builds?
No, because I mean, I'm of the mind when you are in a lead, don't give up on the lead. Just keep adding to
72
it.
to
If it's
nothing.
lapping. If it's a 2 mile race, I'm up by
Go for
half-
two. Go for two, and you're up
Keep
by
going.
50.
Keep
especially
going.
because they take so many whippings. Like, you have to take in consideration the amount of losses that they rack up for the win. So for every Nigel, brick by brick, for every undefeated four,
No, for sure. You have the
There's
GR
7
that sits.
bricks.
You have the bread 11 lows that are sitting on shelves.
nasty work.
But what happens if one of these, and I'm not opposed to
isn't
these
gonna
being
break.
brought back, but what happens if one of these doesn't have the same anticipation that you think it's
To
gonna
be
have?
honest, for us,
Yeah.
for our realm, it's a better thing because it's like, it's not all of the shoes are gonna get that same notoriety. Where it's like, let's retro this, and it saves some of us. For the kids that's never had access, I think it's gonna smoke. I'll give you the example: Lightning 4s.
Yeah.
Thunder and Lightning 4s. When those retroed and they dropped, and everybody was like, damn, they're gonna take away the ones. I don't feel like it took away from the people who originally had them and the people that had a chance to go and get them for the first time, or the people that went and copped new pairs just to be able to rock one and keep their OGs on
I
ice.
just feel like people were a little let down by the shattered backboards.
What about the biggest? I know it's a dunk, but the bigger example is probably the Wu-Tang.
Okay, exactly. But were y'all mad at the Wu-Tang or happy?
I was no. I just felt like
I was ecstatic, and
Yeah.
I still didn't get them.
Yeah.
I felt like a multiple. I mean, we've already talked about that, but I felt a multiple ways about it. It was just because like I'm totally fine with them bringing out the archive. Maybe that was like the first, not the first example, but like the first time they had done something like that
Right.
rare, where you're like, oh crap, like
Yeah, why
the
are you
Wu-
ruining this?
Yeah, like that one, and I was like, will it have the same reaction? And I don't feel like that retro was that great.
Right.
Because people had said, maybe because it's over the years, but the color just seems super off on that shoe.
Right.
So I felt like, and then also Dunk was like at the end of
Yes,
its like
it's
life
fair.
cycle to some extent. So
But
it
you
was,
look
like,
at the
weird
difference.
time.
You look at the difference because I feel like the Wu-Tang Dunk was grouped into the undefeated fours coming
Oh,
out.
yeah.
All those conversations started with those two, and the undefeated four, way different reception than the Wu-Tang Dunk.
For sure, but also a Jordan 4 was a way hotter silhouette at the time where those got retro than a Dunk was last year.
Here's my question.
For sure.
Here's my question to that.
Yeah.
If we removed the fact that it's this 20 shoes that keep getting this type of treatment, let's just say New Balance guy. What if they were to retro the JFKs?
They did that. They did the Kennedys. Yeah.
Right.
I
That's
thought
what
that
I'm
was
saying.
cool. And it was always like, but there was always some.
So it's like that's or a lobster, right?
But there was always
Like,
some like separation, not separation, but like they dropped those Kennedys at Complex Con
Yeah.
at the Concepts thing, but they like remade the shoe in the USA when the previous one wasn't. So there was like something.
Right. You're saying like there should be like a little switch or added value if they do bring these things back.
To some extent on ultra rare
Even if
shoes.
they weren't available at first. Like this is the first time they're,
So there's one example that I always
And
use.
when did it come out?
These 2011.
Right. So think about
And
it.
these only dropped when they opened up the Jordan store in Tokyo.
That's what I'm saying. So I just feel like that. Like I'm cool with the youngins getting a chance to see or feel or participate in shoes that we were super hype about. I feel like it keeps the nostalgia alive.
Are you wearing these though, Joe?
I'm not doing these.
Why not?
It's very interesting. Like it's one that I never really sought after. It's one that I would go into stores, and they would always be in the glass, and one that it never really was like.
It
oh,
spoke to you. That was like
yes.
number 12 down the list of like everything in the case.
Yeah, it's like I know that some people like this is up there for like top 5 for some of them in terms of grails. It's like right, basically alongside all the ones that they were seeking for that they could never get. This was never it for me.
And I still remember like early on at Complex, there was a picture of like Drake wearing these courtside at the time, like 2014, 2015.
That made it worse.
No, but it was like at that moment, it was like
What?
I thought you don't have.
no,
the
but it
hoodie
was
on.
like that was like what? Oh my God, Drake's wearing Tokyo 5's
5s.
courtside. That's like a
Yeah.
huge sneaker moment at the.
Right,
at the
Do you
time.
think it's a top 20 grail? It's probably not
Not top 20.
top 50.
But I feel like even then, it wasn't the average sneaker collector's grill either. This was like, if you knew and you
knew.
had a deep
Yeah.
archive, it was more of like real.
Or if you went to
sneaker
if you went to Sneaker Con or something like that, they'd
Right.
be for sale for.
I feel like
super
these are
expensive.
real collector grails. People
Yeah.
who have like PEs and
I don't
stuff
think
like
most people
that.
know about that shoe
Right.
outside of like.
So that's why I kind of like that, just the general public is getting to. I mean, it might not work, to be honest with you, because it is hard. This is not an easy shoe to just get off.
Totally.
All 5 suede yellow, you know what I mean? Like,
So wait, are you wearing them or not?
You gonna
I
get
can make
those?
every shoe look good.
No, but
Do you think? Yeah, good.
I'm just being honest. That's
Hold
what
on,
I-
though. Do you
by the
think
way-
doing this podcast is going to reinvigorate you?
It already
chasing?
has. It already has. Like,
okay.
again, going back to the reason I did this podcast, Clark Kent,
Mm-hmm.
ATF, Mayer, all day,
just-
Abdul. These guys,
Yeah.
they're 50 plus. Might be 1 or 2 that are in it going to 60. And the hunt and the feeling to get everything. Do you know what it's like to call Mayer and he still has
Yes.
everything?
Yes.
Every single thing, new, old. So like these things make it took the excitement away, but now being able to talk, digest, look at stuff with you guys who I respect and who on your own feet, I'm like, all right, well, what's he wearing today? What's he wearing today? It has invigorated me. So I may go out and get some more of this stuff that's
good.
now available. But to be honest, would I go out and look for it just because I like it now? No, I would not. I wouldn't go and get this shoe on release date or anything like that because it wasn't a part of my early grails, but I do understand and I appreciate that people can get to it.
One thing that it's interesting, I want to get your take on this. When we're talking about like the shoes, when these come back out, even with like the generation divide, I remember the biggest example, I've said it on this podcast before, you were definitely aligned with me, the Clock Kiss of Death Air Max 1.
For sure.
It was one that in early 2000s, I remember being an intern like, I can never
I know
get
what
these
shoes you're talking
shoes,
about.
never get these shoes. These were like it. And like, I remember the pages at Complex, then they came out, totally didn't do what they were supposed to.
The resurgence wasn't
It wasn't there.
what you were expecting.
And if you were back then, if you knew what these did,
those were literally at one point were probably the hardest. And then they had those special boxes.
Yes.
The Chinese tea boxes
Yes.
and the hexagon box. And that was crazy.
that's when.
But that speaks
Yeah.
to what I was saying earlier, saying, hey, if you take it out of Jordan world and retroing things, Linen Atmosphere is the inverse of that conversation because they went even crazier when Linen Atmospheres became a general or a release. These guys they're the one trick pony that gets this cheat code. So I'm cool. And I understand this for the realm of kids that they're dropping it for.
This
the
one,
clock,
this
I was
one,
shocked.
I was beating my chest over in the Slack, and they were like, the younger staffers were like, these aren't going to do anything. I'll just watch.
Oh.
And I remember I actually called Mayer, and I was like, can you believe that this convo is going on? And then they didn't do what,
It was like,
and I was like,
yeah, no, it's
and
crazy.
It was a wake up call.
I think it had to do with the silhouette too, because that's
Air Max 1,
Air Max 1s. Like you gotta really know shoes and be
Right.
into shoes to
Yeah,
know
I
which
feel like
ones
that
hit.
shoe. Yeah, thing we gotta talk about. So, I finally got a pair of Jordan 4s, right? I got the Cave Stones. The brown ones,
What are
right?
the Cave Stones?
They're like
They
clay
just came out.
looking.
They look like the Travis Friends and Families
Yeah.
with the Nike Air on the back. They're
Okay.
brown Jordan 4s. So I finally wear a pair of Jordan 4s. First time in my life.
What, were you anti-Jordan 4s before?
just-
No, I just didn't
he's
have.
only-
I just didn't have a pair. I just didn't have a pair. But I wore them.
The type
for,
of jeans you wear are not optimal
Buddy
for
Lees.
Jordan 4. Yeah, like...
No, I think honestly
Oh, wow.
wearing. I
You
think
got
wearing,
those?
I think wearing the Wranglers fits the Jordan. No, that's the wrong
That's
shoe.
not the one.
Sorry.
Please.
Fuck.
That's the wrong
Because
shoe.
if you have that one, I
I
was
put
going to
it-
smoke your boots.
No,
Those
it's
were
this.
gray.
Yeah, no, this is it.
Yeah, you can get away with those.
Also very similar.
But I think
to what
wearing
just-
the Wranglers with the wider, it fits better on the
Buddy
floor.
Lee,
It's more
yeah.
like a boot.
Bugle
Either
boy.
way, but I wore them for like
Bugle
4.
Boy is crazy.
I wore them for 4 hours, and I wanted to saw my foot off.
Yeah.
Like people say that with Jordan 4s, like how uncomfortable they are.
Yeah.
I did not realize how uncomfortable.
No, they're
What are you
terrible.
gonna do? And
I
so is the
mean-
Air Max 95, and I'm still rocking it every
Yeah,
day.
but Air Max 95 is more comfortable than a Jordan 4 is.
This is why Welty, I can't give him the full sneaker.
What are you talking about?
Because you're
Can't
wearing,
stamp 'em?
you're still wearing shoes for comfort. And
Yeah.
like, oh, this wearability, like, bro,
Dude, I'm almost like 40 years old. Like, what do you
so
want?
am I.
I know.
But what do you want? Like, you want me to be like, oh, I want to walk around?
No, I want
have
you to
like,
be able to do
And-
what fits your look and aesthetic. Even if you got to sacrifice comfort for a few hours.
Or a foot massage after.
That's it.
Get a foot massage.
But like you saying like, oh man, this one's good, but it didn't have enough.
No, it might
So
feel
my
like
lumbar.
What do you
like,
mean? You're
bro,
gonna wear the rad
No,
CrossFit every day? Nah, I
You're
know.
literally
That's
like
crazy.
the line you're
I
drawing.
will say
You do wear stuff for comfort too, but luckily there's silhouettes that you're tied to.
yes, but also
So that's a
I think
different-
people have said, yo, 95s and 4s are probably your favorite shoes of all time, and they're the most uncomfortable. But it doesn't. It's all the same to me. Hopefully,
But you were also complaining about like plantar fasciitis on like your arch.
And
too.
what about now?
I'm
It's
not
gone.
saying not complain.
It's
I'm not
fully
saying listen.
gone.
By the way, you know what the most uncomfortable shoes are? Designer shoes, and those are the ones I've been wearing the most. But what I'm saying is, Welty, if you're a sneaker, if this is
gotta
what
sacrifice.
you gotta sacrifice, my bro. You gotta sacrifice.
I feel like you cross like a age gap where all of a sudden you're just like, you know what, man? Like
you think cowboy boots are comfortable? You've been wearing some of those.
they're not uncomfortable.
Okay, a cowboy
know, I
boot
don't
versus a Jordan 4. Cowboy boots are more comfortable.
Yes.
Even
That's
Even the
crazy.
whole shin.
I feel like they fit your feet. Like the problem is with the Jordan 4 is that it was too narrow. That was the thing.
I'm not saying it's comfortable. I hate it.
It's
and
not,
I wear force
I'm not
fields
talking
with that
about.
shoe to
I'm
kill
not
his face.
talking about. No, I'm not talking about the cushioning of the shoe. I'm talking about
I
literally.
hate the toe box.
Yeah, the toe box feels
Yeah,
like my
it's the worst
pinky
shit
toes
ever.
are gonna
Yeah,
like
it's the
break
worst shit
off.
ever. But I've also not like I'm not complaining. It's like your girl complaining about wearing heels when you go out. You like, I know, but this is what you wear to go out.
To that point, let
Just
me ask you.
saying.
You always claim that you started the cowboy thing. Was Mason Ramsey really the?
I've never seen you in cowboy boots, but that's crazy.
Do you remember Mason Ramsey, the yodeling kid?
Oh wow!
This
He's
was
the GOAT.
This was
Whatever
way.
happened to him?
Look, he grew up, but he always
He
claims
grew up
like he
crazy.
started the cowboy. I feel like this
I
was
do not claim I started anything.
okay. All right.
So if you got the Jeremy Scott Adidas with the cowboy flares?
No, he
No,
doesn't wear
no,
that.
no,
Oh, so you're not committed to
He
the
has.
bit. He's not
actually
committed
does
to the
cowboy
bit.
boots.
Yeah.
But
Well,
listen,
retros, cool with me, even if they're super grails. You know, let the kids have their fun.
second episode, big one.
Yeah, we should bring in our guest.
Our guest on today's podcast is an artist. He's a sculptor. He is a designer. And last week, he dropped the highly anticipated Mars Yard 3.0. We're here to talk to Mr. Tom Sachs. Welcome to the Complex Sneakers Podcast. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Thanks for having me.
How you feeling?
Great. I'm excited about all this week.
Let's peel back the curtain a little bit. The whole crew has the 3.0s on. When you travel with the crew, does everyone get the 3.0s? It seems like you roll as a group and everyone has the same footwear on. Him and I, we've been working together 8 years. We never wear the same footwear, so I kind of like that already.
Well, yeah, it's part of our uniform. I mean, I think it's just to eliminate choices and options, just kind of wear the same thing every day.
Vandal, second episode, you're continuing the trend. DJ Clark Kent footwear. What do we got on feet?
I'm gonna do it. I got that white pony hair, stay fresh on the tongue. I'm gonna try to do a Clark Kent designed or inspired shoe as long as I can into the episodes.
Okay.
You know, my outfits is always gonna be different though.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, we knew that.
No, but After this episode, all of my outfits will be shoppable on the Complex shop.
Oh, we're going to see those fits together. Didn't make the collaborators list this year,
Yeah.
but one of my favorite collabs, look, I wear them a lot. CDG Air Max 180s. One of my favorite CDGs. You know, I love the 95s, but these classic to me.
Just one Kith 997.5. Okay. Little bit of Easter colorway on them.
5 colorway.
Tom, we know you got the Mars Yard 3.0.
That's a
on.
cheat code.
How excited are you about this release and this week? Are you someone who like looks like the numbers or what? Do you just make the art and put it out there or what?
Well, we've got a lot going on, so I don't care if it's a movie or a poem or a sculpture or a sneaker or an interview. It's all sculpture to me. It's all treat everything the same. So in every given week, we're doing a bunch of different things, but it's irresistible, the draw of the internet and the power. It's the biggest drug addiction there is, so I can't deny, I can't pretend
Absolutely
that it's not a big moment, and it is.
Is it safe to say you're like, when we talk about, the hype and anticipation for all that, but you're like the anti-sneaker guy? Is that like a...
It's funny, I was talking with Mark Parker, and I'm like, I'm not a sneakerhead, and he looked at me and he's like, you're like the biggest sneakerhead. And I don't ever think about it, right? Because I don't think about hype. I just think about things that I love, and some of my favorite things are the most common. And but I realize that going back, when I first started making sculpture, and I first saw those first Air Jordans, and I saw people like really freaking out about them, that to me it was the same as a cathedral at Chartres. There's no difference. I mean, sure, one takes 100 years to make, and it's the center of a community and of a religion and a faith, and even after that faith is passed, it still stands. And the other is like a non-heirloom product, a shoe that lasts a season or two, and but the devotion and love is what matters, that people care about it. That's what's exciting for me.
And I think I'd heard that Mark was like a patron of your work. Is that how you guys got connected, or is that...
Well, I mean, Mark has my work, but I think before that we became friends, and he came to a bunch of my art shows. We started up a conversation, and we spoke for, I think, about 5 years just about art, and he wanted to talk about art, I want to talk about sneakers. We talked about everything and became friends, and it took 5 years to develop the terms under which we could collaborate. And it was probably about 7 years from when I met him till the shoe came out. Because 5 years of talking and then 2 years to actually get the thing onto people's feet.
Was there equal attention in trying to get the deal done, or like what was the thing that was holding it up for so long?
It was organic. I mean, they invited me to design an Air Force One, and I told them I have no interest in decorating a shoe, that I want to do a silhouette from scratch, and they're like, okay. And then I said, hey, why don't we build this solid bronze half pipe? It's going to cost too much money. And they said, no, we don't want to do that.
Okay.
So we went back and forth, but it was all, and I was always kind of skeptical because of industry, and it took me a while to understand that it wasn't like a sellout to do something with Nike. It was like an opportunity to get the values of the studio, which is about transparency and craft, onto people's feet, and to innovate incrementally instead of just for innovation's sake. That's what we do in the studio. We build things with unlimited budget, unlimited time, unlimited amount of detail, kind of like a couture house, like the way Chanel would do something, but it's a sculpture. And then, you do something, it's a sneaker, it's a different constraints, different possibilities, different advantages, different disadvantages, a totally different animal, and you have to respect how to do that.
Yeah.
And it took a while. I mean, I think I'm still learning. It was really with the GPS that I mastered it, I think, because that, to me, is the greatest achievement that I've done at Nike, because it's, it's value engineered. It's the best you can do for $110, and it's like an incredibly well-made thing, and it performs well, and it's for everyone, which is my intention. One of the things I was really mortified about when I did the Mars Yard 1 was when it came out in 2012. I was so proud I finally did a piece of art for everyone, because I'm kind of feel guilty about how expensive my art is, and I wanted something for everyone. And then it showed up at the Park Avenue Armory, and it was really expensive.
Not for everyone.
You don't have to tell me how expensive it
anyone.
was.
But even when it was new, it was expensive.
Yeah.
It was like $200 or something.
Which now isn't.
I would.
But in
literally
2012
pay
Yes,
$400
exactly.
for them.
You had previously said too there was like a point of your career where you couldn't even afford your own artwork, right? So was that like a reflection moment for you?
I mean,
on-
still at
Yeah.
auction, I can't go and buy. I mean, I have, but I don't. I can't. It's not a thing that I do.
So like, was all of this?
Yes, it's a great question.
Was all of this a part of your thought process even before? So when you were having these conversations about what you wanted to do there, was the end result about who would get them and how they would get them and how they would, because obviously the second drop had so much of a different release, and were these things that you were thinking about, even say if I ever make a product, an apparel product, is this has to get baked into the idea overall?
So anything you make in any category, but it's especially easy to understand with shoes, is like, what is it? It's a shoe. Who is it for? Like this kind of athlete, this kind of consumer, whatever. And then how do you tell the story, right? That's like how anything is made, and the storytelling is just as important as the engineering. It's something that Raymond Loewy taught, and it's something that I believe in. It's something that I really learned at Nike in the Innovation Kitchen. The first round, I wasn't thinking that much. The second round, I don't know how we stumbled into that insane thing on Governor's Island, which was the most preposterous, craziest.
It was the best part of it.
It was so cool,
It was
right?
the best part of it.
And so I think what happened was, well, the first round, just so you know, they didn't sell out.
That's
there were
what I
only
was
like
gonna say.
500 pair.
I read that. Did you have to like buy them back or
I
something?
bought them back at wholesale and gave them all to my friends.
It was crazy
you couldn't
because
sell 500 shoes.
I think
they were
that-
they were expensive. No one knew who I was. It wasn't a thing yet. It was just like, I mean, people knew I did a show at the Park Avenue Armory, which is definitely a big venue and it's huge, but no one. It wasn't. Instagram didn't.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think you
It
have to
wasn't
think
out-
about the time.
No,
Yeah,
I totally
because
like.
I'm not gonna lie, I slept on them, maybe
Yeah.
just about a week, and then it took 3 weeks for people and the like high fashionisms to understand what it was and how special it was.
Yeah.
And once that happened, it was like, oh, okay, it's over. Now it's too
Yeah.
late. And it didn't take that long. I think it was like a 3-month process to where it's like people talked about it, and it went from that to just you have to have it.
So this is only 500 pairs because I had to go back
I-
and buy this, and it was
Yeah, it's like a really nice used car.
the most I've spent for a long
Yeah.
time on a sneaker, and it was my grail for a while. And then reading about the lore of your sneaker design, how it wasn't selling out, is just crazy to
Yeah.
me. And it's like now, I think even when I had PJ Tucker on Sneaker Shopping, who's like the biggest NBA sneakerhead, was like, yeah, we put the Tom Sachs up there. The other thing that happened, I have a little bone to pick with you. I'm taking
Yeah.
them out of storage
Please.
last night. Literally delicate.
Oh,
and
yeah.
this thing
Tore
and then
right
I'm
off,
like, this
yeah.
is what he wanted.
No.
No?
That's a fuck up. No.
Oh,
that should-
okay. Okay.
Yeah,
So I
but-
thought it was like,
but
oh, ruin
intentional.
it.
But I
This little
have
thing.
personally repaired dozens of those in my studio. So any of my friends who brought them,
Oh.
I said, bring the thing, and I do the X stitch. And
I
that
thought I was going to go to a tailor down there. Maybe I'll
Yeah.
give them back to you when you leave with
That's
these.
a
No.
raises the value.
let's talk
Yeah.
after. But yeah, you should just stitch it through.
Okay.
And I would say that's part of not on purpose, but
Okay.
it's part of the culture of it is just that they get fucked up
Yeah.
and you fix them, and then just like a spaceship in space, you fix it, otherwise you die. So there, you fix it. You own it. It's part of you. And I would say that it's not even. I mean, it's hard when something costs thousands of
Yeah.
dollars. But besides that detail, like that has the character of you having been through it, and you stitched it, and you bring, and I will fix yours. I'm very happy to.
Wow, appreciate it.
on the
And-
pod.
Yes.
Yes,
On the-
bring it over and we'll stitch it through. But that was an error in production. It was like a mistake, and it was because. And another thing that I learned is the more complex the engineering, the greater likelihood of that it won't get executed, because it goes from me to a designer to a developer to a prototype factory to a production factory, and then back. So that there's an X stitch, which is, like on a seatbelt, it's like the strongest,
Yeah.
totally overkill for a shoe. I specified that because it was like what NASA would do.
Okay.
But instead, they didn't even do the most basic thing, which is like a regular seam. And Also, there aren't a lot of donning straps on tongue, so it pulls.
Got it.
Did you feel like you got everything right on this version that you got wrong on this one?
Yeah, but it takes so long. It takes 2 years.
Yeah.
So by the time it comes out, you've been wearing them, and sure, it goes through a wear tester, but that's only like 8 weeks, and I expect a shoe to last 50 weeks or more. And so I'll wear it for 50 weeks, and then you start seeing they're the things that you know, and then they're the things that you don't know. Like they're what is it? McNamara said the knowns, the unknowns, but you know they're out there, and then the unknown unknowns, the things that you can't even conceive of. And those things happen all the time, like how it's really going to wear when you wear through it, and the little like nipples rub a braid off, and then guess what? You use a harder rubber than you because you want it to last longer, and then it gets you a little harder as the rubber gets harder, and then all of a sudden it's slippery on ice. And you see, and so the next time you make the durometer a little softer, and then you made it too soft, so it wears out too quickly.
So my question is, like, prior to these two projects, how aware were you about just the sneaker culture community being so, archival and researchy in this resale market? Like, there's shoes that sell for just as much as some of your art pieces.
Yeah.
Like, were you privy to all of this, or did you kind of like your project show you a first-hand seat of what seeing your shoes go for $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000?
I'm mixed about that. Like, I really respect it because it means people care. That's the most important thing. I don't share those values because I destroy everything in my life. Like, I buy the most expensive equipment and I destroy it because I believe that, and I'm really hard on my body, and I work out and do lots of sports, and I'm really tired, and I sleep soundly. But that's
How many hours a night?
7.5, 8.
Okay.
Because the health triangle.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry, just a little for the audience. I'll look in the camera for this. There's diet, rest, and exercise, and there is no escape except death. So if you work out a lot, you have to sleep a lot, and you have to eat a lot. There's no escape. And the only way to lose weight is just to have less calories than you work out. But then, that's maybe not the best. It's a hard thing, but sleep's king. If you have to choose between working out and sleep, you have to sleep.
That's okay.
It's just survival. Otherwise, you'll like hurt your back or something.
Damn.
Sorry, I'm old.
No,
so I'm
no,
sharing.
look at
You
that.
guys are all headed.
We're all in that.
Listen,
same
You're
the
headed
hang,
there.
the hang tag coming off is important, but that's more
That's
important
real
to
game.
life. Okay.
So you have similar ties as far as your architecture background to another great legendary sneaker or just designer overall, artist overall, is Virgil Abloh.
Love these.
Obviously he's had a huge liking, gravitated towards your work. How do you feel about implementing just your actual technical skills as an architect, or finding ways to bridge the design language between architecture and shoes? How does that translate to when you're building something in the footwear space?
Well, I'm not sure this is the answer that you'd expect, but Virgil came up, and I did too, in architecture school in a time that was conceptually driven. So all of my technical abilities, and I can't really speak to his, although we're pretty close, so in some ways I can, are really conceptually driven. It's not about like engineering. I've kind of backed into engineering, and I'm kind of I self-taught, kind of a shade tree engineer. And for Virgil, that wasn't really, he also was not like classically trained, but we learned architecture from like conceptual thinkers like Rem Koolhaas, or Le Corbusier is probably like the first one that really had really far out crazy like kind of bullshit ideas about architecture that he'd used to sell to get his ideas off the
Right.
table, or Marcel Duchamp, and that's
Right.
I think that those are some of the values. And you should read Towards a New Architecture is the
More game.
Yeah.
Free game.
that's the one that
Read it
I think,
before bed.
Yeah.
The 8 hours.
Yeah.
Read it
8
before.
hours.
because it's got like everything you need to know. There's a lot. Like Le Corbusier is the second most important artist of the 20th century, and that one book it's pretty short, like under 100 pages, and it's got all of his main 5 points well told. And I know that was one of Virgil's favorite books too, and I think we shared that.
Yeah, he put me onto the furniture. Like he was
Le Corbusier furniture.
Yeah, he just was. I mean, he was just so dialed into everything he liked
Yeah.
that once he showed you something, or it was just like
Yeah.
archival books, you know. It was, and it went like that with the shoes. I remember seeing, you know, as he was designing the first sets of shoes, even for Off-White, not even Nike stuff, just Off-White stuff. So I was just curious as to like, you know, you built such a world
Yeah.
around your aesthetic that you know, a lot of it does translate into the shoes, but I don't know how much of that is intentional, or how much of this is like kind of like an escape for you to step away and work on a new canvas, you know?
Well, the best made stuff is the stuff made at Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. Those are the things that are made to go farthest away from planet Earth. These are where the devices that go to the edge of our solar system turn around, take pictures of us on Earth. These are the devices that land on Mars and drive around. And they're made by bicycle mechanics in the valley who were gifted and worked there. And so when I was doing the Mars Yard 1, I was also doing a residency at the Entry Descent Landing Team at JPL. And that's where I
crazy.
got the Vectran on the Mars Yard 1. If you hold that up, it's kind of shimmery, and that's the strongest fiber there is. It's like way stronger than silk or even or steel. If you fold it a bunch of times, it'll break like a paperclip, and you know that was one of the failures in that shoe. But Tommaso Rivellini gave me a sample of it on this. I would do this triangle: New York, L.A., Portland, because Portland's really a pain to get back from New York. The flights.
Not a lot of flights.
It's either you're guaranteed to lose a night of sleep, because it's either like 6 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
or like a red, it's red ants, and they don't have. It's like not comfortable. Like
Right,
they send
yeah.
the cheap planes, the
old
old
planes,
planes.
yeah.
No lay flats to
Yeah.
Portland,
No,
right?
lay flats to Portland is crazy.
But it allowed me to do this triangle and spend a lot of time with those guys, and you'll see them in my movies. And like Tommaso Rivellini is to me what Michael Jordan was to Tinker Hatfield, and like my muse.
That's crazy.
And so this was the shoe for him to wear in the Mars Yard in Pasadena, where they drive the rover, the twin that one goes to Mars, and one drives around this yard. And then also when he's in D.C. trying to scavenge money for the next mission, he has to sneak in the hallways so that no one can hear him sneaking up and listen behind doors to get the funding.
Wow.
I mean,
That
not that
brings
Tommaso ever did anything like that. But
That just brings me to like The Martian, like the Jet Propulsion Lab
Yeah,
is the
so-
main story
so
in that movie.
all of those, I've been in all of those rooms, and those are the guys, and they're all like scruffy hippies. That's exactly, it's incredibly accurate. I've been there many times, and those guys are all like that genius.
Sleeping on the
nerds.
couch in the
Yeah.
room.
Just making it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When this shoe became like, because you said that this shoe didn't really take off, gets bigger after the fact, and then this shoe becomes like a huge thing,
Yeah.
right? And it comes like almost like a cultural icon or
Yeah.
status symbol. Getting that reception of it, did it like boost your ego in any sense, or how did you deal with knowing that you had something that people cared so deeply for?
Well, I'm really honored by it. I spent many years caring about what other people thought in middle school, and it was like the most painful time of my life. And I was pretty lucky to, in my early 20s, find my own internal standards of excellence, where I couldn't worry. Either people would be mean to me or they'd kiss my ass, but it was like very transparent to see that it was exactly the same, that they weren't looking at me, they were looking up to me or down to me. And the achievement is the shoe. and how I feel about it. And when the tag tears off, that feels bad. I'm embarrassed about it.
See, I thought that was planned. I was
No.
like, oh, I'm living his rap.
I mean,
It was like,
I'm making lemonade out of lemons by telling you about the sewing thing, and that's a nice thing but it was an accident. I can't really worry about that stuff because I've got so much. There's so many details. I'm like already working on the next one, so I'm really honored by it, but I can't. I got to focus on what I'm doing. Does that answer your question?
No, for sure. And because you have that, and I just feel like you have the overshoe in between, which I felt like it was a love it or hate it thing for some people. It was like there was the anticipation that this had become like one of the biggest shoes in the sneaker space. Yeah. Everyone hears that Tom Sachs is doing another shoe. It's a big boot, but you can cut it apart. Yeah. But some people didn't want to obviously put the labor in. I know obviously breaking things down and apart is part of your artwork. But then after that, you have the GPS, and I feel like that was your most like commercially viable mainstream product.
I have some of these things. Sorry. You know what? Just to go back, I thought I should show you this.
Oh wow!
Because this is what I wore this shoe for 10 years, and I was just really it's the one, and I wore the sole out, so I put some Nike waffle in the butt. You can pass it
I was gonna say different sole.
Yeah.
No, he added this.
I wore it down, and it.
You had to resole it.
I just resold it, and it's falling apart.
Shout to the Bower.
But I guess when you ask like, my ego, like I just tried to keep humility about the project and keep focus on that, because I think it's easy to get caught up in the hype, because it's an achievement, and I just want to kind of, I'm honored by it, and I don't want to ignore it either. I think it's interesting because I have a lot of projects, and this is not the biggest project of my life, but it's for sure got the most attention.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that too, because it means people have more exposure to my art. Like there's this book, right? The Tom Sachs Guide. Sorry, I'm plugging this. I know I said I'm not supposed to, but you can pass it around. But that's coming out in December, and there are 12 pages about Nike in here, which is a good chunk. So it tells the whole story, but it's mostly about all the other sculptures. But I'm hoping that
HG is in here.
Yeah, I hope that you'll be able to see
Hermes hand grenades.
It all together, and how there's no difference between an Hermes hand grenade and a lunar lander in this shoe. They're kind of.
Do you feel like, so to Matt's point, like the sneaker community kind of takes away more of your anonymity as an artist, right? This kind of puts you in the lexicon of the visceral hype beast kids that get into the conversations and stuff, and like usually artists, especially of your caliber, are pretty recluse and keep like their private life and their business life separate, I guess, or their artist life separate. Like, how has it been dealing with that? Like, the sneaker community just having so many opinions about everything, wanting to get into your life about everything. You essentially become a part of the sneaker lore a bit, even though I'm sure you're not like walking around Sneaker Con and getting all the fanfare. But I know in Soho they're stopping you. Sure. I know you get stopped from the sneaker community separately. It's a different interaction from your art fans in like the gallery district or whatever it be.
Sure. Well, right. And my priority is my art. But again, I consider this my art too. 100% my art. And I can make a piece of art in the world of sneakers and Nike, and there are a lot of, if you go to Nike, there are, I don't know how many, 70,000 people that work there. There are a lot of different political agendas there, so different kinds of people. I think it's great, and also all the sneaker community now knows about my art, and they wouldn't have before.
Right.
And it's also a different time. I mean, we were talking before about how in this building, 130 Print Street used to be one of the most important art gallery buildings in Soho, and you guys, there's zero evidence that you wouldn't know that unless you were here then. And that's all gone, and it's Chelsea, and like things change. I mean, the art world has its ups and downs, and I don't know. I think if Joseph Beuys was alive, he's a German artist, who had a big career in New York, he made $1 million sculptures and he made $1 sculptures and he made them available to everyone. He would be doing this. Certainly Andy Warhol would be doing this, obviously. And you know, in his time, some people didn't take Andy Warhol seriously because he made his art really accessible to everyone. And I think as long as you can sleep at night and you're happy with what you do, it doesn't matter what people think, like love it or hate it. It's about doing what you do with integrity and your own internal standards of excellence.
I know, talking about touching on that. So after, the GPS comes out 2022, 2023, that's like your most mainstream shoe project. You're named. Yep.
You had the
brown ones.
Yeah.
And
We
then
were just talking about how this is like a taste the colorway of these defined your taste barrier. Like,
you drop it at Kohl's, it's so mainstream, and then subsequently everything comes crashing down for you after with the allegations and everything about your workplace. How did you deal with that, and how did you address it and pivot to rectify all of that?
Well, I work really hard to make sure that my studio is a place of respect and inclusivity, and that includes my community at Nike and Beaverton and the people I work with there and the public. Done a lot of listening, and I'm really proud of the work that we've done, and I think the Mars Yard 3 is an expression of all that. So we just keep moving forward.
Did you feel like you were on like a redemption path, or like wrongs that you needed to right along the way, or like ask for forgiveness, or?
I just think it's important to respect people's feelings and hear them and hear what's going on, and just keeping always hard. It's a process. Nothing's perfect, but I think it's important to acknowledge what's happened and to like own it and just move forward and always just strive to make a place excellent and safe and inclusive and just respectful.
In this industry, we're laser focused on work a lot, and a lot of what you've said today is like laser focused on the work.
Yeah.
Dealing with that, did it wake up and make changes going forward? Did it for how the studio is run?
It's a process. So we're always working on making the studio excellent and safer and better constantly. It's like it's an ongoing process. We're constantly doing it forever. We're doing it before, we're doing it during, and we're doing it to this day. It continues.
I think that alludes to what I was asking also, just like, artists and artists' practice and what they do in their studio actually wasn't readily available to people. And I think that the attention that the shoes put on you may have let some of those conversations leave the studio. You said you leaned into it on this next shoe and this next project. Do you feel like anything related to your, whether it's your personal business or the things outside of the shoe kind of will tell itself in this new narrative or this new project, or, whether it's just material base or where the studio was at in general? You said you leaned into it. Do you think we'll see that in this next shoe?
In 3?
3.0.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, the 3 is maximal. I did everything possible to make it look like we did nothing. I don't know if... I think we have one if you want to unbox it.
Oh, yeah, listen.
Yeah,
is now the time to do that?
This is my second
size.
episode. It's the second episode. If it's one thing I want to do is debut something.
Yeah.
Wait, is that 10 and a half?
I'm a 12.
I think it's a 12.
Oh, is it 12?
It might be no. Is it?
This just feels so right.
It's a 12. Yeah. No, it's a 10 and a half.
10
You're
at
right.
women's.
Yeah.
Women's 12.
I'm gonna do this so that way the camera could put a gold glow when I open the box.
The MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Always a message, by the way. Just be aware. This is not just packaging, okay?
The other thing is this box going to stay together? The second one in the closet.
Yes, this box is cheaper and stronger and better, more sustainable, recyclable, better
Okay.
stuff. Yeah. It's a good box.
I'm gonna keep one and pass on.
Oh, okay.
This guy thinks his second episode, he thinks he's leaving with these.
I mean,
So-
listen, man.
So we did everything possible to make it look like we did nothing.
But you did so much. and I
There's
could
nothing
already
that's the
tell.
same.
Because you
There's-
had the 2.5 in between where you had that group of wear testers wearing the shoes. You had Devin Booker
Okay.
amongst them.
yeah.
Yeah.
How much different was this shoe to that shoe? Because you can obviously see the through lines between it, but
So there's a bunch of stuff. So it's got the outsole. If you look at the bottom, it's the overshoe.
this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's got, and what was special about that, what we learned from that was by having, and we're talking about learning because everything's learning, is just a lot more on the bottom because I didn't like how they wore through,
Got it.
right? Because they're ultra light. These are free soles.
You have a carbon plate in here.
And that's because also I wanted a lot more support and weight and
Functionality and
I'm old, so I want like things really strong. And also in the GPS, it's got a lot of weight and support. So just your feet are less. If you have really light shoes, if your feet aren't really strong, you'll have tired feet at the end of the day, unless you do exercises. And I'm a little lazy.
So this was my favorite thing about the detail in the last. It was just like this just gave me Birkenstock energy, and the fact that like everybody in Europe walks around on cork soles all day, and it's just
It's really nice barefoot.
super nice
Yeah,
barefoot, and it gave me that, and I wore them a bunch of times barefoot like that because it just felt right and it looked good during the summer.
I gotta go back to cork for those. I'm always doing. I'm like testing some like different
This is
materials.
crazy, though.
You obviously, with the release of this, you had the ISRU
Yeah.
program with people. We had people in the office shooting crumpled up pieces of paper.
Minimal effort. They tried.
Hey, it's
They're going to get the other shoe.
It's about showing up.
Yeah.
It's about showing up. That's all that we care about. A lot of people said to me, I did it, but then I dropped out. And I really, for next semester, we're going to really, really try to help do some messaging to tell you guys it doesn't matter how much you do it. Like, do what you can. You have jobs, you've got kids, you've got your own art project.
So,
like,
So you said next semester, so there's another shoe after this? Is that what you're alluding to?
Oops, did I say something?
Yeah.
wait, yeah, and hold on, if there is, then what is the effort? What does the effort get you?
Stay tuned.
Are we getting some? Listen.
Hey, what we learned is that it's not about the shoes. Sure, everyone showed up to get the shoes,
Yeah.
but they came away with something so much more, which is
Right.
an experience, an opportunity to explore, to learn, to be excellent,
Right.
and to find themselves. I mean, I had my life saved by my art. I was a super unsuccessful kid. I got like C minuses. I had to do ninth grade twice. I was bad at sports, like everything that you could be good at, unpopular. And then I found my art, and then everything worked.
Right.
I got good at school because I was good at sculpture, so I started writing papers in philosophy to help me support sculpture, architecture. I started doing architecture. I was good at everything because I cared for the first time in my life. And maybe I didn't get A's, but I learned and I was engaged. And what I'm hoping for ISRU is that people find, we have like 5 activities, but what I care about is that you find one that works for you. Like
Right.
maybe it's not free throws, maybe it's wall drawing, or maybe you didn't like any of them, but you got to make a 1-minute movie about, like, I made a movie about skateboarding with my 7-year-old son.
Yeah.
It was like a highlight.
Right.
And I'm just there to open the door. It's up to you to walk through it.
And for those who miss out on this shoe,
Yeah.
you have something special planned?
Well, since you
A little bit
asked,
exclusive.
Yeah, that's what we're getting. A
know?
lot of exclusives.
so since you asked, I guess now's the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So you lost. You didn't score high enough,
Probably him.
right? The prize you trained for, it won't be yours. But you showed up. You stepped up to the line. You did output before input. You ran out. You ran back. You did all this stuff. You did a good push-up, not a junkie push-up.
He's good at push-ups.
Good,
He's
okay.
good at them. Free
Okay.
throws, no. Push-ups, yes.
Okay, we're all good at different
Yep.
things. Your wall drawing reflects your commitment. You read before bed. Now you dream better. It's real. You guys try. You know it. You made a medicine ball, which is a sculpture that makes you stronger. You shared your ritual and you tried new ones. Your efforts are your gains. The points never mattered. We had so many people complaining about the points, but it was never about the points. If this is losing, losers are winners. So what we say is participation is a form of excellence.
Wow.
Now, introducing the Nike Craft General Purpose Participation Shoe.
It's the ultimate participation trophy.
Yeah. Available only to ISRU campers who lost.
The 3.0s. If you
Yeah.
get the 3.0s, you're not eligible.
You cannot get so you cannot get.
If you were allocated the 3.0s, you are not eligible for this
Oh
offer.
wow.
How could someone
So-
tell
oh,
that?
wow.
What if you hide it?
So they're not gonna. They're only.
Oh,
gonna
but in the
they're-
stores.
They're
Through-
only
it's
gonna come out
through the
through
app.
this, and they're not going to have a release outside of.
This is only through the app.
Wow.
Okay.
We're doing it's $110. You pre-order now from this moment until October 3rd. So it's a pretty short window. It's like a week or something on the ISRU app, and it ships in the summer. It ships this summer. But it's only if you signed up. So you would have to sign up by now. And this is the first time that we're doing a pre-order with Nike. So we're only going to make however many. We've got a running tally in the office. We're guessing how many. I'm not going to say.
Oh, it's
we don't.
crazy.
A lot.
Because the thing is,
But yeah.
depending on your taste, do you want to be a loser?
Well,
Or do
You're
you
actually
want the
winning. You're
3.0?
winning.
If
this is
Even though
losers,
you're
losers
losing,
are
you're
winners.
winning.
Right,
Yeah,
so
even though you're
I
losing,
mean,
you're
You
winning.
could be a beautiful loser, man.
This is what I'm saying.
Yes.
I don't know, what everybody's sneaker taste are. Maybe Welty wants to 3.0 and exclude himself from the loser shoe. Maybe I want the loser shoe.
See?
We don't know. But I think this is an interesting.
You said beautiful loser?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you ever see that art show? Do you know about the mission school?
There was I get the reference. There was a pair of beautiful loser.
Those are
Nike-
dunks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because there was a gallery on Ludlow Street called Alleged Gallery where I showed, and then a lot of those artists like Barry McGee and Margaret Kilgallen, Mark Gonzalez, like part of San Francisco. And there's a movie
Yeah.
called Cheryl Dunn did called Beautiful Losers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I'm like tangentially related to that community. Like I know all those
Yeah.
guys.
Wow.
And
And
so
Barry McGee had shoes
Barry-
too with the Adidas and Nike,
Yeah.
I believe.
That's
so
crazy.
I'm so honored that you say that because I hadn't put that together, but that's definitely part of my history. Yeah.
But I may be cool with being a beautiful loser. You get the 3.0s. If I miss out, I'll take the loser shoe because my participation counts.
I think the main thing that I'm trying to teach and share is that it's not about the points. It's not really about the shoe. It's never about the shoe. It's about the things that you do in the shoe. So I think it's cool that people collect them and revere them and put them on a pedestal. I always tell my friends who have them wrapped in plastic, I'm like, if you don't wear them, you're not getting the next one.
Clark Kent,
I gotta wear.
rest in peace
more.
to Clark Kent. That was his number one thing. Wear your shoes. It's leather and rubber.
Yeah.
He evoked what you're saying right now. It's like the community around it, why you collected them, it's all great. But if you're not wearing them, if you're not out there, if the art's not being displayed, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
My one question I had was, I love that this has a dual phase now, right? You can get the mains or you can get these others, right?
Well, you don't really get to choose
No,
because
yeah,
you already
yeah,
have
yeah.
them allocated.
Right,
So it's
that's
like,
crazy. So I mean, but I'm saying there's a way for you to walk away with something if you put in the effort,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
At the Randall's Island thing, there was 2 courses.
Oh.
There was a harder course, and there was a lighter course.
Which one did you do?
I went for the harder
Okay.
one, but I failed
Oh.
because I couldn't get the zip line over the little thing for some reason, the little water pond or whatever.
Yeah,
and I was
it was
dressed
hard.
too well to look crazy.
He showed up in.
You don't wanna get
in
wet.
on the
I
wall
didn't want to get wet.
leathers.
Yeah, it was a very different time in my career. I was dressed in all leather in the summer, and I didn't want to risk getting wet, pause, and looking crazy. Especially because you had. I think the thing I loved the most about this experience was that it didn't matter who you were. You had to come do that. And I was on this ferry with a lot of influential or celebrity people that are too cool to do anything, but went to go get these shoes and are jumping and are
My
zip
guy had
lining.
the bomb on leathers on.
I
doing
definitely had I swear to you, I definitely had leathers on. And I definitely tried to do the zip line. I was 100 pounds heavier at the time, so I was
Oh my
even
God.
more unathletic.
Oh my God.
And it just didn't look good overall. But I was willing to risk it for the sake of experience and to get this higher prize, which I didn't get, which is fine. I'm still glad I experienced it. But is there always like the intention to add this kind of like effort dichotomy into why, if like you really want to participate, or if you really want to be aligned with the Tom Sachs feeling, you have to put some grit in?
Yeah, I think part of maybe this is a response to like, how do you feel about the like hype community or whatever? And it's like, I want to do a thing where if you got the shoes, you had to wear them out through mud or something.
Oh,
right? That was an idea.
Yeah.
I just thought that was a little too harsh. Like I would do that without hesitation, but it's not for everyone.
Nobody's gonna want to ruin their
Yeah,
purchase. Right?
yeah.
But there are sneaker stores that do that.
Well, they do with the Nike SBs. You have to do a trick in
You have
them.
to do a kickflip.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's
Exactly.
a
And
bunch.
I'm a 59-year-old skateboarder who cannot still do a kickflip,
Okay.
but I am still skating.
Okay.
Right.
So like, fuck you.
Yeah. I
But-
respect that.
But I do appreciate when they do that. I think
Okay,
that's
so you like it.
I do.
Okay.
I do, and I think. I mean, I haven't had to like pass that test, so I'm like a little like chip on my shoulder about that. But that's my problem. But I really respect that. I really because it used to be that if you wanted to sell a Powell Peralta T-shirt in your skate shop, you had to sell a certain number of decks per month.
Wow.
You couldn't
That's crazy.
sell skate apparel unless you sold skateboards. And then Supreme like ruined the authenticity of that by making it like fashion and just like the style of skateboarding for everyone. And so there's some diehard people like Labor on in Times Square kind of has that.
So Tom
that
Sachs
vibe.
and Supreme's never happening, right? That's what that's basically what you.
You know he was gonna. Yeah.
But SB though, he might, because SB still only opens up accounts. You can only carry SB.
Wasn't there a Nike SB shoe that like came in your colorway and they like did you see this? It was a few years
did.
ago.
Wait,
they like repainted the shoe.
Was it a P? It wasn't a P. Who was it?
Oh,
I know exactly what
but
you're
we
talking
should
about.
but we should do an SB. That's a really good idea. We should talk about that. Yeah.
I have two questions I want to go back to.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we're talking about skating. I have to know a little bit more about the all bronze half pipe and what that meeting was like and how far it got and like what that was like.
So like again, they brought me to do like Air Force One, I don't know, 20th anniversary or something, and they were bringing all these artists in, and I was like, that's not for me. Also, like, so I said no, and then but the relationship was good. Like Mark came to my studio all the time, and he came to my shows at the Prada Foundation in Milan, and the whole crew, people, and Sandy Bodecker, of course, I was really close with. Giorgio Dimitri brought all of us together. John Jay brought us together. It was a really like a lot of other folks, and then I said, yeah, hey, why don't you guys are into skateboarding, and Sandy was in, SB stands for, what SB stands for? Sandy Bodecker.
Yeah.
And rest in peace.
Yes.
And I said, let's build this bronze skate half pipe, and they were like, you're crazy, because it was going to be like $5 million or something. And
You sketched it down and everything?
yeah. And eventually I made it and we showed it at Lever House on Park Avenue and a bunch of other places like in Marseille and in Paris at Tadeusz Ropak, and it's been around the world, and we made a lot of them, like 4 of them. So, I mean, I don't know. Why don't we lobby Beaverton and get them to? They don't own it, but I think now they could get it. But the point is that it was just a dialogue of like, I didn't like their first thing, they didn't like my first thing, but there was respect, and there was a dialogue went back and forth until 2009, when I interviewed Mark Parker in Interview magazine.
Okay.
And I was really tough about planned obsolescence and things lasting, but them being light and finding the balance. And Parker said, you think it's so easy? Why don't you try? And the Mars Yard 1, as a result of that conversation, he kind of like said, it's harder than you think. And the shoe that I meant to do then took me a decade and became the GPS because I really was trying to make a value engineered shoe. Like, it's pretty easy to make something like a Mars Yard because you can just spend unlimited money. That's like I said, that's what Chanel does. But to do something that's excellent that costs $110 is much more challenging, and there are many more tests, and you have to get the most, like, so the dawning straps, the blue straps on that's the same material that BMW uses on their seatbelts, but it's only a couple of inches of it, so we could afford to splurge on that, right? And we just scrimped and saved and just tried to hone it down, but make sure that everything was still excellent.
And I'm surrounded by the rarity, the hype, Mars Yard collaborative shoes worth a lot of money, but I want to go back to, you're just touching on it right now. You said that this is your greatest footwear achievement.
I think
it's because the price point and how good it is at the price point. A lot of times I think we hear it with athletes a lot. Like, my biggest thing was like to get the price down and make it functional, but like that's not a BS thing. That's like what design.
No, it's real. And also, I see there's another one behind there, a brown. Can you?
Yeah, that's yours,
so
right?
The other thing about it is I tried the Mars Yard in many colors, and it only works in this color, where this could be in unlimited colorways because it's a platform that supports different storytelling. I've tried doing this in different colors, and it just looks terrible.
What kind? What
We
colors?
need to see the samples.
Yeah.
I refuse to answer that question.
Black, blue, black.
There's some black ones for
Okay.
There's
wear
the
testing.
blue. There's the blue pair too that Ben
Frank-
Kirshner had made.
No,
Yeah,
that's
it's
like
an
Godfather
inverse.
3. We don't talk
Yeah.
about that. No, it's really only this. And I've tried other things and sketched them, and it just doesn't resonate. And it's because the material is so specific.
We were talking-
and it's transparent. Like, it's always natural pigskin, always natural polyurethane, always natural rubber. The only thing that's a color is the advertising part, the swoosh.
That's crazy. We were talking about how what I loved about this shoe so much was that it was a shoe. I'm a big fan of general release shoes. I get the hype. I've been a part of the culture to get the rarest of the 1 of 30s and all that stuff. But to me, a general release shoe that you could walk into Foot Locker and make fly, that nobody else probably looked at or gravitated towards quickly, that's who really distinguishes if you're a sneaker guy or not. And what I loved about these was that them being accessible at some point compared to your other shoes, the colorways distinguished the taste and the kind of wearer and who you were. We were talking about that before. It's like, if you had the yellows, you were a certain type of people. If you had the cream color, you were a certain type of people. The brown were a different type of people. Like, what was your go-to or your favorite from these to wear around?
Oh, for sure it's the white.
The white.
Because we call that the studio colorway.
The studio color.
And that's like in fact, these are only available, the whites are only available through the studio.
Okay.
The other ones
okay.
are through many places. And it's kind of like, I don't know if you imagine it in the outfit that I'm wearing now. It's like,
smokes.
like I love 501. I love a Casio DW5600E only. Like, my wife wears Rolex. I wear these. And this is my, on year 8, and it's starting to crack. I think I might get a new one. I think they're $40. Keep it simple.
Yeah.
Because it's got a lot of things going on, like Einstein or Steve.
Yeah, Mark Zuckerberg wears the same thing every day, not to have to pay.
But stay tuned, because I think we've got some other stories coming.
I think that's all we stay tuned to, is to find out when the next
And,
project.
and we think that there's going to be more of these. The shoe that you just announced, and then what's the proper name? Is there a proper name?
For what? General purpose. General purpose participation shoe.
Okay, the
GPPS.
GPPS,
Yeah.
which you could enter now for a short time, and
October. You can from this moment till October
October
3rd, and then it ships in the summer.
And then do you think we'll see more of these? I know that we just got past the 3.0, but like
4.0.
how many point .0s are we
5.
going?
We're talking future, right?
Yeah.
We're talking futuristic.
We were talking before about other stuff, like evolution is everything. No one's perfect. There are mistakes in the 3.0 that I would change. There there are things that I see now because you have to stop. Rule number one of Van Nystadt's rules on filmmaking is, do you guys know what rule number one is?
No.
Finish the movie.
Okay.
And it's true of anything. Finish the sneaker. You know, we don't have I'm very privileged that I get extra revisions. I demand them because I'm so exacting, and I might make some people crazy around me to do it because I'm so exacting. But there are limits, and you must finish the movie. You must finish the shoe and get it shipped, because real artists ship. And there are things that you just have to try and you don't know, and then on the next one you get to see. That's the thing, when you say finish the movie, you will always make mistakes unless you're like Stanley Kubrick. And then you make the next one and you fix it and you learn. It's very important that we have to understand and accept ourselves and our mistakes and learn from them and do better and move on and not get bogged down by the past, and accept that you did the best you could and you just keep going. And so I think the limit is death.
I got one more question in the sneaker world,
Sure,
in the sneaker sense.
Yeah.
Before you were able to design your own, get gifted your own, what was your go-to? This never fails me. I'm wearing it in the studio. I'm wearing it in the airport. What was your go-to? Always stocked. Always had a fresh pair. What was your go-to sneaker?
Oh, 999.
New Balance 9.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
That was all I wore, and I remember, like, my first meeting with Nike. Like, I was
Showed up
gonna.
in New Balance.
I mean,
He loves doing that at the Nike things. That's why I don't know if
I
Jay's
mean,
back there. We keep him away
Matt
from
is
him.
our resident New
He
Balance
loves that.
expert.
I mean, it would have been disrespectful, so never. But yeah, I mean, that was my go-to. In like high school, it was always a Samba.
Okay.
But my first true love was waffle trainers, and I mowed the lawn all summer to go to the Wilton Sport Shop to get a pair of blue with yellow swoosh waffle trainers. And to this day, a Ferrari is always red, a Porsche is always silver, and to me a Nike is always blue with yellow. I mean, that's not done, but in my mind it's that.
For sure.
And I'm like, I will do a blue and yellow Nike, and I'm still don't understand why that didn't. It's just, you know, we have a very memories are personal.
Yeah, of course.
So I mean, my yeah.
So that's the Tom Sachs top 3 right
Yeah.
there.
I think
The waffle
At least where
runner,
it started, yeah.
the waffle runner in the OG colorways,
Yeah.
New Balance.
the New Balance
And the Samba.
999s, and the Samba.
yeah.
That's a strong 3.
Yeah, those are, and then other ones. Before, when I first moved to New York, my first pair of like hip sneakers, because none of those were hip. New Balance was not hip.
Not yet. They caught on now. Now
Yeah,
now
yeah.
everybody's
Back
jumping.
then,
I even felt like it was almost illegal wearing them because they were relegated to the old.
like
But I-
dad shoe. Yeah,
Yeah. I
Steve
felt like-
Jobs.
Yeah.
I felt like I was too young and hip to wear them. I hadn't earned it yet, but whatever, the sneakers. But the first pair of sneakers that I bought and collected, I still have one pair. It's probably cracked. Are the Jordan 9s.
Oh,
Oh,
wow.
okay. I like the
That's a
nines.
surprise.
That's a
Yeah.
surprise.
That was the only
What
Jordan.
color was it? White and black?
Olive?
Yeah.
Okay.
White.
The white and black tradition. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
I
And-
can't picture you in a 9, but now that
But,
you said
but
it.
it was because to me it was like a space boot. I
Yes.
thought it looked like a
Oh, yes.
NASA
Yeah.
thing,
Yes.
and I
That
wore
makes
them
sense.
to death. And then the other one that I had that I was wearing a lot when I met Parker was the all leather Stussy. Oh no, sorry, I bought them at Stussy. It was all leather HTM Umara.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
yeah,
The
of
Terra
course.
Umara.
Yes.
Yeah,
And-
those are good.
and
Yes.
The black ones or the brown?
They're brown.
Yeah.
Those
Okay.
are good.
And I fucked them up so bad that I held them together with red zip ties. Maybe you
Wow.
saw zip ties somewhere else later. And I remember meeting Parker like on my second or third time, and I was like, and I was probably like possibly still wearing New Balance at the time. He's like, but I really love those Umaras. He's like, I know, yeah, I saw you fuck them up. They're like your
You ever tell
construction shoes.
Virgil that you held the Umaras together with zip ties?
I don't know. And I mean, that's,
And you
they're
can see-
pictures. They're pictures.
Now I'm looking at it, you can see a little. Not saying this is a Umara, but you can kind of
You
see.
can get that.
You can get this. It's in the same family
yeah,
of it.
yeah. They're kind of heavy.
Yeah, or
And-
just even just the all-terrain
I was about to
sole
say
on
it's
it.
like a very cross-training climb.
This could have been like an ACG shoe if you didn't design
It's.
it.
I think it's very
Yeah, good
ACG
point.
structurally, but also the Humaro was like really luxurious. It was leather, had a leather sock liner. It was all leather, and it was a premium. I don't know. I don't think it was made in Italy, but it was the nicest Nike product I'd ever.
They actually
come
wanted
across.
that to be the first Nike SB collaboration, alphanumeric, but they said no, you're going to do a dunk instead. But they wanted to do an Amaro.
It's a great silhouette.
I think it's still one of the
Stump.
best. Like it still smokes every time
Yeah.
in any color.
Yep.
Like,
You
it
guys
had
should.
a resurgence a couple years
Yeah.
ago
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have it. It's all cracked and like it's.
We need a picture.
We need a picture
if
for
possible.
the add-on.
Yeah.
All right, I can find that
Yeah,
for you.
awesome fire.
Tom, thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Yep.
Congrats
Thanks-
on the
thank you guys.
release. The new
Thank you.
GPPS entered the draw. If you didn't get the 3.0s,
There's no such thing as a loser.
Yeah.
thanks
Thank
again.
you. Thank you.
All right, everyone. This has been the Complex Sneakers Podcast. We hope everyone has a great weekend. Please like, subscribe, comment, and we'll see you next week.